Hi, everybody. My name is Bryan. I'm a designer. I'm working on a program in information visualization, a master's program, and I'm going to talk about art history and data visualization. So let's start with the scroll. This is kind of the format that a lot of things started out in, and it's kind of a clunky format, not very easy to access, an individual piece of information, and really not the best way to go to present this knowledge that we've been collecting over time. So things develop a bit into the codex, or the book as we think of it now, and this is a lot more interactive. It's a lot more easy to use, has a lot more features than the scroll does, and it's quite a nice development. So then, of course, we have in these codices, we have illuminated manuscripts, people, scriptori they were called, actually copying down the contents of books from one book to another and repeating this information, and then, of course, illustrating this information by hand tediously over and over again. This changed a lot, of course, with the development of the printing press, and we see this, have ripple effects across time with the, repeatability of information, taking away this copying of text to focus on the design side of things more. So this is a great example of that combination of design and the printing press, where Euclid's geometry is reprinted in the 19th century with great diagrams along with his explanations. So that's it for the container. So as far as the visual side of things go, we see sort of Art Nouveau coming up, taking visual forms from nature and incorporating them into great decoration, lavish visuals, and very much about the form rather than the content. So Art Deco is another example of that, but of course with more geometric shapes, more symmetrical, and is very much meant to impress the viewer upon looking at it. So if we take a look at also this poster style, or Plackenstiel, with very much flat colors, big typography, these posters took advertising and turned it into an art form. They're very collectible, and they are very kind of socially important. So early film also gave us the cinema of attractions, which is the idea that film lets you actually see things. So this is celebrating the fact of special effects only over content completely, bringing people in. So film also gives us the auteur theory, which is the idea that an individual author's voice can shine through all of their work, and I think we have some parallels with that in visualization design. So as we progress, in kind of a macro level, we see modernism come out of the Bauhaus school for design, really marrying aesthetics and functionality, and stripping away all ornaments. So this goes on to influence quite a few designers, including next slide is Herbert Bayer, a very early information graphic, very simple, very clean, not a lot of ornament, and he's just kind of giving readers a little bit of context there with the article that's accompanying. So Ladislav Sutenar on the next slide is kind of the first really practitioner of information design as we think about it, and I think he's also probably the first one to sort of use information design to actually advertise products like he's doing here. So this is Otto Neurath's work, and his contribution was the isotype system, where he's replacing quantitative values with actual symbols. So he's the guy that you can blame for these little figures and half filled in all the charts that you see today. So another great designer, kind of marrying science and form, is Anton Stankowski. He did these great illustrations of complex scientific principles with very simple shapes. And sort of another designer that does a similar thing, but in 3 dimensions, is Will Burton, and he creates these great kind of interactive, 3-dimensional, very big, exhibitions to illustrate the brain, a cell, and other complex ideas. A speaker that is here today, Natalie Maybach, does something similar by really plotting weather data in 3 dimensions, and she also creates these great musical scores from the same data, so you can hear and see this kind of very abstract data. So as far as, this is a quote from Will Burton about how visualization and graphic language is really the way to progress and move forward, kind of with the complexity of information that continues to compound upon itself. So from my perspective, I see things as far as format moving towards mobile, with a lot of the other kind of web industry. But visually, I see a lot of the Bauhaus principles coming back into play. So we all use information every day, and it's going to be, a larger and larger part of people's everyday lives. So we are all, really, if you think about it, making history. Thank you.